Hey guys, welcome back to LPLR Orchids. Today, just a quick update on a few things, a brief chat about some Paphiopedilums, both of which are in semi-hydroponics. So we'll start with these guys because we noticed both of them are putting on what we believe is a bud forming, just the very start and low bud. There's that one, which is easier to see, and then try to get down. You can just see like a difference in green color. I know it's really hard to pick up on the camera there, but it is poking out from this leaf. Now, just some tips for newer Paphiopedilum growers. You can kind of tell when a bud is coming out because generally they'll put on like this smaller little leaf right before the bud comes up. The leaf has been on, this is a bellatulum, Paphiopedilum. So it's had that leaf there for quite a while now, several months. Like it was stalled and we weren't sure what was happening. But now it's finally going into fall and starting to bloom. Maybe a little bit behind. It seems like all of our plants are a little behind some of the ones we see online. But this one is pretty dark green compared to some of them that you see. Like the foliage is really dark and the modeling is pretty cool. It's like washed out almost. It's different compared to like the regular cheetah-like modeling on this guy, which is Venustum album. So that's this path, Venustum album. Another sign that maybe they're going to bloom on older growths is that they will start putting on new growths. Hopefully. Now, most of our paths will do this. They'll put on a new growth right before they bloom on some of the older, more mature fans. This one, move around. It's just, you can just see it there at the base of that leaf. There's like, you see that little darker spot. And that is the start of the new fan. So there it is. That's a bit better. Both of these guys are healthy, and with all of our semi-hydroponics and Paphiopedilums in semi-hydro, we try to water them twice a week, usually like Wednesdays and Saturdays. And I'll just fill up the pot to the top of the media and then let it run out. And then, of course, leave the reservoir full. And we've been fertilizing about every other watering with about a half-strength fertilizer mix. And then what I do usually when I'm fertilizing is I'll plug the hole and I'll fill it up with the fertilizer and like let it sit there for maybe 30 seconds to a minute and tap and get all the air bubbles out. And I don't know why I do that. I don't think that's necessary, but I do it anyway because I feel like they soak up more fertilizer in that minute than just letting it flush through. And I just wanted to mention that this is where we grow these guys in the north-facing window in the kitchen. They like it here. Also, with the fertilizers, we do tend to cut back on the fertilizer when we notice things are starting to bloom. Maybe we'll skip every other fertilizing just because ours has pretty high nitrogen. And I've always heard that like nitrogen can kind of stall blooming or prohibit blooming in some plants. So yeah, I tend to cut back a little bit when we see them flowering. Hopefully you can see these guys bloom in, I don't know, the next few months probably, maybe 6 months. I'm not sure how long it's going to take them to actually go all the way, if they go all the way, which would be nice. And the brown leaf, of course, that's just natural leaf dieback from where the new growth is coming out. So no big deal, nothing to worry about there. So in a couple other updates, blooms now the Vosnermucca, Phalaenopsis vosnermucca. It has opened all 3 of the buds that had formed on the old spike, and yeah, continuing to develop a few on the younger spike. So that's looking good. And I think the Jermaine Vincent is going to put on like a record bloom for us this time. All of the spikes are kind of gearing up. And we did cut the seed pod off this week. So that's already off in the mail to the lab, which is great. Down there, noticed last week another new spike is coming on. Yeah, that's, I don't know, I may end up chopping one after it. That's a lot of spikes. I'm not sure. It seems like maybe too many. But the Tetraspis green, Phal Tetraspis green, still trucking along, which is good to see. And then an update from last week. If you watched the video from last week, we showed that the RLC or Cattleya type Chia Linren Sun had fallen out of its pot. So that was like emergency repot time, needed to happen. We put it into like this, we get tomatoes, cherry tomatoes sometimes in these kind of net pots. So they make nice orchid pots for like a really airy thing. And I figured, well, plant it a little deeper than it was and let the roots kind of grow through those holes and hope to stabilize it as it grows. Already you can see there's new growths coming on, new roots down at the base of the new cane, which then a couple days ago we noticed, maybe you can see what we can see. Yeah, so there does appear to be some blooms coming up inside of there. So after a repot, emergency repot, it's starting to put on some flowers, I think. You can see the shadow right down in the base of the sheath there. So that's awesome. Pretty excited. And the whatchamacallit, the happy sap or whatever, the sap is going pretty strong there too on the edge of the sheath. So yeah, pretty excited about that. I think a successful repot there didn't seem to affect it, although we took it pretty gently on it. And then of course we also repotted last weekend the Oncidium shari baby. So that needed to be done as well. We took the dead bulbs out. Well, only one of the dead bulbs was left. Seems a lot healthier, and I don't know. That's probably just me projecting. I don't think it really looks any different, except it's in the same pot that it was in. So we disinfected everything and just repotted it with fresh media and took all the dead stuff out of the bottom. Just cleaned it up and seems good. The last update today is the Bursidium Shooting Stars Black Gold. It's amazing. I've never seen this. This is definitely the fastest orchid growing tissue that we've seen in any of our orchids. I noticed it 2 weeks ago. If you saw the video, just the tip of the spike was growing out from between the leaves here. Like you could just barely see it. And now, 2 weeks later, it's, I don't know how long that is, maybe 40 centimeters long. It is starting to kind of branch out and grow some side branches, or maybe these are just going to be individual flowers there on the sides of the spike. So that's pretty awesome. So excited to see this one. We are taking it in at night. I don't know, just because I'm afraid for some reason. So we're taking it at night and then moving it back out during the day. I just don't want it to get too cold, because at night now it's starting to get down to like 14°C. So that's getting a little chilly already at night. Yeah, got to think about the cataseminums too now. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for checking in. Hope you're having a good one, and we will see you back here at El Pilar soon.